Gamers, I have been bamboozled. I thought this is coming out tomorrow, but it's coming out today, and I locally recorded this video already, so now I'm re-recording live on stream. We got caught off guard, but here it is. The last civilization to be revealed, the last civilization coming with the new DLC is gonna be Japanese. And let me tell you, there's some new mechanics coming in hot. There's some new stuff coming in hot, and I know people have been really excited about the Japanese Civ. We see the flag right there. I can't zoom in more. I mean, I could, but whatever. The Japanese are a new civilization available for with the Sultan's Ascent expansion for AOE4. The Japanese civilization introduces the new daimyo system, allowing you to upgrade the town center to daimyo manor and eventually a shogunate, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, castle that comes with powerful defenses while also bolstering food production from nearby farms. Advancing the daimyo level also unlocks access to samurai bannermen, special units that provide significant combat bonuses to units around them. Embrace espionage by fielding the unique Shinobi capable of blending, I read first bending, in with enemy villagers and sabotaging production from behind enemy lines. In AOE4, the Japanese civilization, whatever. Let's dissect what we got here. Let's start dissecting all the information. So, again, I can't give you guys bonus information, but throughout this thing, I literally recorded this 3 hours ago, by the way. But I'm gonna redo it on stream. So, let's dissect everything that's said, based on what it said, because there are more mechanics than what it says, okay? You can upgrade your town centers to the manor and then the castle upgrade. Not like a keep upgrade, but it's called Shogunate Castle. And comes with powerful defenses, which means the defenses will be improved with every upgrade. And it will bolster, aka improve the food production from nearby farms. Which means that farms placed around your town centers will be getting bonus gathering from farms or faster gathering, whatever, whichever way you want to call it. But you will get farm boost. And there's a reason for this, which is not revealed yet, but you're gonna get it once the game is out. Advancing the daimyo level. So daimyo is upgrading the town centers, right? So once you upgrade the town centers, you also unlock the access to Samurai Bannermen, a special unit that provides significant combat bonuses to units around them, which we will go into a little bit later. And then you have Shinobi, yada yada. So let's move down into more detailed stuff. So we see the big picture. Was this one of the pictures that was posted back in the day? I can't actually remember, but there you go. The Japanese Civ at its full glory. The Japanese civilization, playing the Japanese. The Japanese civilization begins age 1 with multi-purpose buildings that offer unique options for early strategy and are excellent at producing fishing ships quickly. So Japanese will be a civ that will be a good, maybe even very good civ for water maps, okay? Very good civ for water maps. Now, they focused on localized economy supported by daimyo from town centers. Once upgraded into a daimyo manor, villagers working farms in the surrounding area will receive a large bonus and samurai bannermen become available to produce. A vast roster of infantry, primarily focused on the samurai, defend the territory and lead the battle with samurai bannermen. This is the important part. Bannermen support infantry and cavalry with attack bonuses, and the samurai offer excellent frontline support with their deflective armor, an ability which periodically blocks the attack. So in one of the previous pictures, like a long time ago, there was a picture where samurai clearly had another bar above their health bar, and it was a white bar. And people speculated, is it a shield, is it a this, is it a this, is it a that? So like it says here, samurai are units, right? They're not, samurai bannermen are not samurai. There's samurai and there's samurai bannermen, okay? Samurais are frontline units with deflective armor. It's, like it says, it's an ability which periodically blocks attacks, okay? It blocks attacks. So this ability is not something you activate. It's something that happens once you get hit, and then there's a cooldown after the ability is activated. Now, the Samurai Bannermen do increase the damage bonus on your units. So Samurai Bannermen will be the type of unit like Mechter that you produce that buffs your units. So you will, I mean, if you want to use your Civ to full potential, you're going to have to make Bannermen with your army to buff it up. Now let's go to the unique stuff. Shinobi Koka Township landmark. Light melee infantry that disguises itself as the enemy villager, sabotaging structures and using clever smoke bombs to reappear in new locations. So, sabotaging enemy structures, again, I can't say exactly what it does, but you know what sabotaging structures in other games does, so there you go. It does disguise itself as the enemy villagers, okay? So if you are red, for example, and your opponent is blue, if you use the Shinobi ability to transform into the enemy villager, your Shinobi will be a blue villager, okay? So that's something to consider, and this can be used to, enter the enemy's like worker lines and then suddenly start attacking. Now, one thing to note is there's more to this mechanic. But obviously the enemy, when they see the Shinobi as villagers, they will see them as their own villagers. They're not going to see them different colors or whatever. They're going to see them as blue villager moving. They can attack it, okay? They can attack it if they right click on it, but the units will not treat it as an aggressive unit, okay? So basically, if you're using Shinobi, if there's a wood line, you don't want to like come from a random angle because it's kind of obvious that that's not their worker, right? So you kind of want to sneak it in some way, right? And then smoke bombs to reappear in new locations. I mean, reappearing in new locations once you use smoke bomb, this is where historical accuracy does not come in handy. Because indeed humans cannot teleport, but Shinobi can. So this was one of those things where I wasn't really sure how well accepted it's going to be. Now I can tell you that Blink on Shinobi is not OP. I can, most of the games, I'm going to say like 95% of the games that I've played, whether it's an RTS or in a game, Blink is like an overpowered ability. Like it's so hard to balance Blink. Because it's you can blink over buildings, over wood lines. It's usually overpowered. I've used quite a bit of Shinobi, and I don't think they're overpowered. I don't think it's like, oh my god, they need to be nerfed immediately. So yeah, and I'm assuming even if they are, they're going to be adjusted. Now this is probably one of the strongest units in the game, and listen to this one. Onamusha. This unit, this unique horse archer, specializes in taking down heavily armored units with high damage, mobility, and a longer weapon range. The Japanese do not have crossbows. They have Onamushas. And this is the first crossbow in the game from any Civ that is, not that it's unique, I guess French crossbows are unique, but that it's a cavalry unit. And this is a unit that I am worried regarding balance, because crossbows in general are units that you beat high armored units, but they're kind of slow, you can just run away from them. But Onamusha will chase you down and beat you down because they do bonus damage against armored units. So I think that this unit is going to make it very hard for you to go armored heavy comps against Japanese. You will get completely destroyed. And this is another issue. I'm not going to say it's like, oh, this is a huge balance issue, but this is just my opinion. If you go heavy armored units and the opponent goes for, mass crossbows, Yeah, you might lose the battle, but it's whatever. Crossbows are slow, they can't really do much, they gotta have protection. Oromushas can go on their own, and they are cavalry. So after they kill your high armored units, they can actually just counterattack you and cause economic damage. So this is going to be a very, very strong unit that the Japanese have, and it's going to be interesting to see how the players use it. If it's, I'm assuming this might be a unit that's going to be somewhat masked early on, but we will see. Obviously, it has weaknesses, but armored units are going to have quite a hard time against it. And once you get a certain amount, you can one-shot knights, which that amount of Oromushas is not that high. Like, it's not like 3, but you know, 10 plus Oromushas, I think, if I remember correctly, one-shot a knight in castle, or maybe it's more, maybe it's like 15. But my point is, there's a lot of micro potential. But they do, so they don't have like high base damage and bonus damage against armored. It's more like they have damage and then high bonus damage against armored units. And then the last one, or the third unit, is Ozutsu, which is Tanegashima Gunsmith Landmark. Now, these are not the only Japanese units, by the way. Pretty much every almost every Japanese unit is unique. These are just the ones that are, you know, being shown as the most unique, I guess. And Ozutsu are heavy ranged gunpowder unit equipped with a handheld cannon. The Ozutsu excel at sieging enemy buildings and destroying groups of units clumped up in an area. This is what Ozutsus look like, and they are scary. I would say the closest comparison that I have to Ozutsus are Grenadiers, but long range. So these are H4 units, obviously, and these are also only available from the landmark in H4, okay? So these are not like hand cannoneers, okay? These are unique units in H4. I know people are gonna immediately ask, can they destroy buildings? Yes, they have a siege attack, so you technically don't need bombards in Imperial. You can just make Ozutsus as your siege. Can you mass them and kill a lot of units with splash damage? Yes. Yes, you can. So they are very, very strong. And I would say Oromusha and Ozutsu are going to be very strong units, especially early on. Japanese through the ages. Now, let's talk about this. From age 1, the Japanese benefit from building that serve dual purposes, the farmhouse and the forge. The farmhouse acts as both mill and house and should be constructed around berry bushes for when sheep run low. The forge acts as both mining camp and blacksmith and contains an extra tier of melee damage technology available in the Dark Age. So, we've seen screenshots of Japanese leaks like a couple of months ago, and I kind of thought, I guessed that this is not just regular buildings. Every screenshot we have had on Japanese, there was always a house and there was always a farm next to it. And some people suspected, you know, maybe they're doing it just because it looks pretty. But no, your house is a mill at the same time. So you can build houses around berry bushes, you know, not just place one house, but if you're building multiple houses, you can literally just surround it, berry bushes with houses so that you get maximum gathering speed possible. If you're getting deer, you don't put one house, you can just put 4 houses and make sure that all the deer are next to a house and stuff like that. So yeah, there's another interesting thing with the houses and economic upgrades that is not in this, so I cannot talk about it, but it is very unique and interesting. So they do have something with the upgrades there. Then they do not have a mining camp, okay? And this was another thing that I guessed and a lot of other people guessed, where you can see the anvil, you can kind of see some blacksmith kind of things, and the mining camp that is available obviously in Dark Age can be used to drop off stone, drop off gold, but it is also a full blacksmith. So all the blacksmith upgrades are researched here at a mining camp, and obviously the mining camp upgrades are also researched here. On top of that, Japanese have the 4th upgrade for melee damage. So every civ can get +1 damage, +2 damage, and +3 damage. The Japanese can get +1, +2, +3, and +4. and the +1 damage starts in Dark Age. So if there's some kind of prolonged Dark Age battles, the Japanese can get +1 weapon damage in Dark Age for their units. So that's another unique thing about them. Next age. Age 2. In Age 2, the Koka Township, which is the Shinobi landmark, it allows you to build Shinobis, the ninjas, and Kura Storehouse landmarks allow options for militaristic or economic growth. The Koka Township produces Shinobi, unique unit that can disguise themselves, yada yada. If favoring a more economic approach, the Kura Storehouse acts as a universal, this is important, I didn't know this actually, it acts as a universal drop-off location and periodically generates free farms in the surrounding area. And this is another thing that your boy has successfully guessed. We've seen a lot of Japanese screenshots, and this building did not change through the ages, which meant it was a landmark. And I actually guessed during one of the previews like 2 months ago, before I had any info, that this is a landmark that potentially is spawning farms around it. And that's exactly what it does. This is an Age 2 landmark, and this landmark, when I played it, it was incredibly strong. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 farms. Free farm seems trash. I don't know if they nerfed it, but this was probably the strongest landmark in the game in Feudal Age. Like, by far, this was the best landmark in the game. Like, there's not one... I can't reveal the exact numbers, but it spawns free farms, and all you gotta do is put a villager on it. So this is 12 farms times 75 wood, which is 75, 900 wood for free. Also, let me remind you that upgrading your town center increases the gathering speeds on farms around your town centers. So there's another mechanic to this landmark, which I don't know if it has been nerfed or not, but it is not mentioned, so I won't mention it. But it's stronger than what it seems. And it's a universal drop-off as well. And perhaps these look like houses kind of thing, so you can go off of that, what that means. Age 3. Age 3, the Japanese can choose between Floating Gate to unlock Shinto priests or the Temple of Quality to unlock Buddhist monks. Shinto priests are able to place sacred objects called Yorishiro in buildings to achieve special bonuses, whereas Buddhist monks can weaken enemy damage output and solidify your position on the field. So again, we have one economic landmark, and the second one is the military landmark. So the one, where is it? The one of the landmarks will allow you to create the whatever, the monks, priests, I don't know what they're called, that will debuff the enemy units' damage. Now, when I play with it, and again, take this with a grain of salt because I played, you know, these things like month and a half ago, and I'm sure a lot of it has been changed, but the monks that reduce damage did reduce damage significantly, but obviously you're not, strategically, you're not going to make that against Malians, right? But against civilizations like Order of the Dragon, because they have less units than other civs, but they're stronger, that landmark is actually potentially very, very strong, because the HR units, or the Order of the Dragon units are going to be strong as fuck, so if you reduce their damage, you kind of get a lot more value in that. Now, the other one, Temple of Quality, is the one that I was using the most when I played Japanese, and unlocks Buddhist monks. And then Shinto priests, which is their monks, priests, whatever you want to call them, scholars, are able to place sacred objects called Yorishiro in buildings to achieve special bonuses. Think of this something like HRE's relics giving certain things depending which buildings you put them in, okay? So, yeah, that landmark was very strong. Very, very, very strong, and I wonder if it was tuned down. So yeah. And then H4, last but not least, we got H4 right here. The Japanese civilization can choose between boosting trade or cultivating gunpowder weaponry. The Castle of the Crow acts as a keep and generates treasure caravans, which can traverse land or water to trade at any trade post. I actually genuinely don't remember what this does exactly, but either way, even if I knew, I can't tell you because it's not in here. But they're not just traders, okay? Let me put it that way. Whereas the Tanegashima gunsmith can access an arsenal of gunpowder units, including the Ozutsu heavy ranged infantry, and this is obviously the landmark. This is obviously the landmark that unlocks them so that you can produce them. But there is more to this landmark. Okay, there's more to this landmark. It's not just that, and we see that there are also Reboldequins, there are Bombards. We see these bad boys, we see some samurais over here, we see villagers, we see some units there, and so on and so forth. And that's it. Like I said, there is a lot more to it, to a lot of these landmarks, to a lot of these buildings. There's a lot more information that is not revealed here. As you can see, you can also put like your houses around the H2 landmarks, so it's like the villagers can drop off there too. And this is kind of the full preview of the Japanese Civ. But I'm trying to think about it. I think out of all their units, they only have 2 or 3 units that are same like the other Civs. All their other units are unique, whether stats change or they cost less or they cost more or they're just brand new units. That's something to look forward to. I mean, you can kind of look at the units in a lot of these Japanese screenshots and you can kind of see which units are different, which units look the same. You can see archers here. This is something that has been noticed on the very first screenshot. The archers are not the same as normal archers, okay? And you can see them, their bows look completely different. So there's something with that. They have another unit that's actually, I don't think it's shown here, but it's this unit right here. Yeah, so this is a unit that was not mentioned at all. It was mentioned? I don't know, but either way, it's a unique unit. There's a lot of unique units going around. You have samurais right here, as you can see. Samurais are very strong, and I have played a couple of games against Japanese. I've played a couple of games with Japanese, and I wasn't really sure, because of their unique passive ability to block attacks, I wasn't really sure how exactly or which units are exactly the best units to use against them. I'm trying to think what Civ would I compare them to, and I mean, I genuinely don't know. I think it's a completely different, it's a completely unique Civ, and as always, that's the part that I'm most happy about. You know, whenever I get asked what Civ do you want, I always said I don't care as long as it's unique, and Japanese are very, very unique. Regarding difficulty, 1 out of 4. I would probably say that Japanese are maybe 2.5 at most. I think they're fairly simple. It just complicated because you don't know any of the units. So there's a lot of like reading you gotta do because they're all unique units, and there's a lot of stuff to figure out, and the landmarks are obviously all new. But I would say that once people are familiar with units and what the units are doing, I don't think it's going to be that hard of a Civ to play, but it was very strong when I played it, and it brings out a lot of unique units that we have not seen before, that you got to kind of figure out what's the best way to deal with them. So I've said this before, but I will make everything you need to know about Japanese, Byzantines, Ayyubids, Order of the Dragon, and all the other ones when the DLC gets released. And I'm also going to make build order guides, maybe even two build order guides for all the new Civs, and also build order guides for the old Civs if they have some kind of massive changes, which I actually don't know what the old Civs are getting changed, but every major patch or update, we've had a lot of changes to the old Civs as well, so I'm assuming that's going to happen as well. And yeah, I'm super excited for it. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much for watching. I will let you guys know ASAP when I know the date of the subathon, so I can update you guys on that. And I will, of course, be playing all the new civs the moment they get out. We'll be making guides on Twitch, so check me out there. I'm probably streaming new civs right now. Well, probably not right now, but soon enough. And if you're watching on Twitch, let's